Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today we're going to settle a 70-year-old question once and for all. Is it Istanbul or Constantinople? So grab your Turkish delight on this moonless night and let's watch ACCM playing as the Byzantines in blue take on Vivi playing as the Turks in red. Now all the players heard their herdables explore their immediate surroundings with pepperonis and with scouts of all kinds and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP. Why don't we take a look at the civ matchup we'll be watching today? Now, the Byzantines are a civilization designed to take a punch to the face. Their structures get progressively stronger as the game goes on, all the way up to 40% more HP in Imperial. Their bombard towers can be upgraded to get splash damage. They get Town Watch, Town Patrol for free, so they automatically see enemies coming from a mile away. And once they're injured, their monks can heal their units twice as fast. Now, they can also slow down enemy advances by spamming so-called trash units for days because their camel riders, their skirmishers, their spearman line units are all 25% cheaper. And their unique unit, the Cataphract, is a heavy cavalry unit with a massive attack bonus against infantry that can take a good beating because it does come with a decent amount of HP and pretty strong base armor. Now, when the Byzantines finally do decide to advance to Imperial, they pay only 2/3 the cost of doing so, which does allow them to invest their saved resources into upgrading their cataphracts even more by giving them trample damage and an even bigger attack bonus against infantry. Now, whether or not we get to see infantry out of our Turk in red, big question mark. In any event, the Turks, a civilization built around their love of the boom boom. Gunpowder units are created faster, come with extra HP, have cheaper technologies, and some of their gunpowder units can be upgraded to get extra range. Now, staying on brand, the unique unit of the Turks is the Janissary. This is an overall more expensive but less accurate hand cannoneer with more HP, a better attack, and more armor. But unlike a hand cannoneer, no attack bonus against infantry. Although, again, not too sure we're going to get to see infantry out of our Byzantine, although never say never. Now, to support these heavy but expensive units on the field of battle, the Turks can field some pretty decent supporting units. Their scout line units come with extra pierce armor. Their cav archers can be upgraded to get 20 extra HP, and their scout line units automatically upgrade to light cav and then to hussars once the Turks reach castle and then Imperial Age, which gives the Turks access to top of the line raiding units, light cavalry units immediately without having to wait for those upgrades to be researched. Now, in order to be able to afford gunpowder units, which are pretty darn gold intensive and expensive, Turkish gold miners do work 20% faster. They get the chemistry upgrade free of charge, and the upgrades I just mentioned where scouts become light cav, become hussars, does save them 1,300 resources, of which 650 is gold. So that is a pretty penny saved by our Turk if he decides to go the light cavalry route. Did I just see two villagers pull a wild boar here? Okay. They both had bows and arrows in their hands. All right, let's take a look at the bases as the players hit 16 villagers apiece. I don't mind this Turkish base at all. Primary gold nice and secure in the back. 3 small-ish forests, but in a nice anchor position here to the front. Easy to wall off, especially if you use your primary stone, which sucks, but it's on the downslope of a hill here on the other side of the settlement. So we'll see if he decides to mine that or if he just decides to go for this safer one all the way up to the top left of his base. Additional gold to the bottom left, additional gold to the bottom right of his base. But overall, I'm going to zoom out. Not a terrible base to wall off against the Byzantines. So not a terrible base on the whole for our Turk. Let's take a look at our Byzantine base. Ugh, this is a pretty darn open base. I mean, his forward also has one small-ish forest, and these two are kind of close to each other in the back. So not too sure you're going to use these to wall off, but I don't know about this base. Primary gold and stone very exposed in the forward position here, although additional resources nice and secure in the back. Some extra gold and stone, and then additional gold also off campus to the top left of the base. So on the whole, I mean, generally the bases are kind of symmetrical. There's not really a major advantage or disadvantage to either player, but here in this case, I would give this to Vivi handily. Again, the easier part to wall off in the forward position. His left flank is completely exposed. Right flank also a bit of a longer wall off, but his primary gold is safe and his forward portion not terrible. So the advantage here I would give to our Turk, whose base has just been discovered by our Byzantine. He himself has no clue where his opponent is, and let's see how much of the Turkish base our Byzantine has seen. Okay, so he's doing the usual loop-de-loop. We'll see if he moves in a little bit closer or just continues to scout on the periphery. Okay, it looks like Vivi will discover very, very soon, right as our Byzantine, one villager less than his opponent, hits Feudal Age exactly 25 seconds ahead of his opponent. Now, why do I mention that? Because that's the amount of time it takes to train a villager. So the fact that he was basically saving on the time for one villager is exactly the time advantage he had going up to Feudal Age, although now Vivi is in Feudal as well. What is being built here? The horse Winnie tells us it's a stable. The horse Winnie and the icon, the chess piece, tells us it's a stable here. Okay, so Vivi's starting to wall off his base. He sees that this scout is here. He knows that his opponent is not leaving. And so there's a reason he's not leaving. And our Byzantine immediately starts pumping out cheaper spearmen. 3 of them to be exact. Are they chasing the scout? No, they're just kind of passing each other on either side of this bamboo forest. Now, I don't know that this necessarily qualifies as a forest, more of a bamboo stock. But we've got 3 spearmen, 2 scouts taking on a spearman, and 3 scouts for our Turk. The Turk's one of those civilizations. I mean, there's an overkill on this one farm here. Vivi's in a bit of trouble here when it comes to his villager management at the earlier stages of the game. Although I guess jacking all this lumber is not a bad what's the silver lining? A conciliation prize? I mean, he's just getting wood for farms, I guess, but yeah, not something you really want to do as if you're involved in a game. Use how many villagers now? I mean, what was it originally, like 7 or 8, and now he's got a bunch of idle villagers as well. ACCM is still here. But his spearmen, I feel like they went back home. Yeah, so 2 spearmen go back home into the defensive position. 11.5-minute mark of the game. We get our first glitch. ACCM is trying to bust in here, although no real reason to. It's completely open here. Oh, no. Oh, no. It looks like we're about to get the first kill of the game. Let's see how ACCM body blocks this villager. Doesn't really have to. Took enough damage. Wow, that is very sour to miss a wall off here because of this twirly-whirly thing on top of the mill. And yikes, all of a sudden, Vivi is down 1 villager. First blood Rambo prize going to our Byzantine ACCM. And immediately, Vivi plugs up the hole. So now his villagers are ish safe. I mean, this is still open, right? So an interesting situation brewing here in the forward position of our Turkish base. I spent so long fawning over this base, saying how much I liked it more than the Byzantine one, and then he ultimately doesn't wall himself in. That being said, let's see if he can get anything done here. Now, 3 scouts against the spearmen. They will kill the spearmen. The question is, will the spearmen be able to get a scout and reduce that count from 3 to 2? And if so, how quickly will that happen, and how quickly will ACCM respond? ACCM wants it. Vivi absolutely does not want it, so he is taking a wide approach. He does not want to get stuck with these spearmen. ACCM's entire army just went home? Okay. For a player that was spamming light units a second ago, he is now heading on. I mean, this is a very hilarious serpentine kind of wall off here by our Turk. But the real action has now pivoted to the front of the Byzantine base. Our Turk is housed. I don't see anything being built here for Vivi. Okay. What is happening right now? Oh my goodness. A lot of small-scale engagements here. It looks like a red spearman joins a blue scout into the afterlife. They brought their coins for the ferryman. 2 spearmen, though, defending the backs here. So I don't really expect Vivi to get too much done here. Ooh, he's also got to back off here. His spearman is much weaker than his opponent, although maybe with the addition of 3 scouts, he feels he can take this. Look at them trying to go around to flank. There is no flank mechanic in Age of Empires. You don't really need to go all the way around a unit. Now, I wish there was a flank mechanic. That would be absolutely epic in this game. You do, you know, a little bit of extra damage like the hill bonus. Okay, evens up the kill count, does our Turk, who now plops down a blacksmith. He is no longer housed, but I don't see him building any more houses. So he's going to be housed very quickly unless unless the goal is to go up to Castle Age, which kind of does look like it. Vivi not paying attention, gets a love tap, and one of his scouts immediately dies. 18 HP taken off of. Oh my god, what an absolute boss spearman here so far. Now, ACCM, I mean, look at this. This is about as cool as a cucumber, not giving a rat's ass about your opponent mining operation as you could possibly have. This is about exposed in a big open field as he is the one putting on the aggression against his opponent. Vivi still has 2 scouts left. He's 1 minute and 50 seconds away, now 3. Not too sure he wants to take this fight. I say this all the time. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you think. But when you have a civilization like this, like the Turks and the Mongols as well, some other civilizations with other units, but if we're looking at the light cavalry specifically, the scouts, the light cav, the hussar line, which I just generally call light cavalry units, because these guys automatically become light cavalry as opposed to scouts once he hits Castle Age in 1 minute, is the incentive not to keep them around as long as possible? Why are you engaging into your opponent's scouts? Those scouts would have never busted into this stable, especially with a villager here to repair in the worst case scenario. But speaking of worst case scenario for our Turk, our Byzantine is just about to hit Castle Age. Got a whole bunch of idle villagers himself. This is a matchup of idle villagers today. 2 town centers being plopped down. And take a look at their HP. They are 30% chunkier than the standard 2400 town center. And there you go. Immediately they become light cavalry units upon reaching Castle Age. And this is exactly why you want to keep them around. Now, I say the Mongols as well, because when you upgrade the Mongol scout line units, they do get the extra HP. The scouts don't get them, but the light cav get them. And so the incentive, I feel like, is to just, yeah, keep them around as long as possible. Do not take unnecessary fights. Camels are now out for a Turk. Why the hell not? He sees that his opponent has gone heavy on the light cavalry units. But if you're going to go camel war with the Byzantine, ooh, man, you better buy a lot more gold, because that 25% discount makes their camels super cheap. Forget about paying 60 gold. They cost 45 gold. And that is pretty hard to contend with, especially for the Turks. Now, remember, the Turks do have a gold mining bonus that allows them to mine gold 20% faster. So maybe he's relying on that. Or maybe he's not relying on that at all. Maybe I should just open my eyes and take a look at the top right of our screen, where you'll see that our Turk is actually going cav archers. Okay. Our Byzantine has stopped training all military except for monks. Is he playing reactionary? Does he want to see what his opponent has before he commits to anything? Or does he just want to train monks and start gathering relics? Where are the cav archers? Oh, they're being hidden here inside the base. So that blue has no idea. He doesn't know that there's even an archery, 2 archery ranges here. Botkin being researched as well for our Turk, who's going to give his cav archers extra range and a slightly bigger attack. And the battle of the hut develops here. Okay, this is something Vivi does not want to do. He doesn't want to do this. Don't expose your your cav archers. You hid them for so long, and now all of a sudden you've exposed them, and now you've got to go. Now they have to get the hell out and start doing some damage. I don't know if he was ready to do this with only 8 of them. Now there's 9. He's going up to 11. That was a unfortunate lemony snicket turn of events here for our Turk, who I don't really think expected to expose his light cavalry. Oh my god, again I said light cavalry. His cav archers that early. I mean, he's going up to 15. He's getting padded archer armor. You guys are still trying to bust in here, but you are not Turks, so you are still scouts. We'll see what kind of damage you can get done here. For now, just the 1 kill, that camel from earlier on, I believe. Yeah, not an economic kill that I missed, which is always a possibility when you're watching Cast of Empires. Camels are chasing these cav units away. Now he guns down his spearmen. There's 2 more spearmen. Where they came from, though, he's got to be careful. I love that our Byzantine is going camels, by the way. He is doubling down. He's got 7 camels. No upgrades whatsoever. He converts one of the cav archers, but unfortunately it's an incredibly weak one. Now the camels should run circles around these cav archers 1.54 tiles per second to 1.6, which means the camels will in theory catch up. I mean, doing some pretty fancy maneuvers there. It looks like was ACCM. I mean, I say they're going to catch up. Why are they not catching up? They're the faster unit. But we've seen this before. We've seen that death ball of cavalry archers. Let's see how our Byzantine decides to handle it. He decides to handle it by losing a few of his own camels. We're getting a thumb ring as well for these Turkish. I feel like I saw something here happening here in the back of the base a second ago. Being led by the one commander, the light cavalry commander. You've got to be careful here as our Turk. These camels are going to zone these cav archers away. Now, you might be wondering why. I mean, on a first glance, it looks like these cav archers that attack on an 8 against a unit that has 0 armor is pretty fantastic. Uh-oh, monk gets sniped here for our Turk. Second one just survives, though, and manages to convert a camel. So you might be wondering, why are the cav archers so hesitant to engage into these camels? Because, again, the camel has no armor whatsoever. Now he's finally getting scale barding armor. But the camel comes with an attack bonus, +9 against cavalry. And cav archers do technically have cavalry armor. And even though they've got bloodlines, there is no Sipahi yet, so they are still stuck at 70 HP, which means that the camels will be able to absolutely shred them to pieces. Another cav archer gets converted into the Byzantine Empire. The monk, though, goes down, so he does pay the price. This is an absolute amazing example of how the Byzantines can just, I mean, there's just a never-ending stream of camels. They can just clog up the works. This is what I'm talking about. The civilization designed to take a punch to the face. Not only are their buildings stronger, not only do they come with a plethora of amazing bonuses, but the fact that they can just keep producing these camels for days and days at only 45 gold apiece. What's their food count? Let me do the quick calculation in my head. I think it's down from 55 to 40. 55, or maybe 41, 42. Low 40s for food and gold is pretty damn good for an amazing counter unit to what our Turk is building. Although when we're talking about counter units, siege is pretty damn good against cav archers as well. So quite a multi-directional game. It looks like the players are just yo-yoing between back and forth. Oh my god, the converted cav archer from behind. He's going to try to snipe the monk. He does get the monk. But not before the monk converts one of the Byzantine camels. I mean, oh my goodness. On paper, our Turk has double the kills of our Byzantine, but he just can't seem to penetrate beyond this middle line. I mean, the Byzantine has drawn a line in the sand and said, you're going no further. And if you want to come try, feel free. But I'm just going to clog up the works with these cheaper camel units. Okay, a Scorpion does come out. Another one being trained. Should do a good job zoning out some of these cav archers. Did he get the monk? No, the camel must have gotten the monk. So my question is, who's going to develop the death ball? Excuse me. Oh my goodness. I don't know why my voice choked up there for a second. Oh, you got to be careful here. All of a sudden, a very exposed, expensive units here. Scorpions, monks. So the real question is, will it be the Turk or will it be the Byzantine who develops their death ball first? Or whose economy will absolutely eclipse that of their opponent? Because not only are these cav archers more expensive than these camels, take a look at the villager count. Our Byzantine is ahead 50%. He's got a 50% bigger economy, and Vivi is just not able to get anything done with these cav archers. He continues trying to go down the center. He is sniping the camels every chance he can. They do finally come with +2 armor, but remember, the 0 base armor of any kind. Ugh. Yeah, camel's definitely one of those units that they're not here for a long time. They are here for a good time as a castle gets plopped down on the forward left position of our Byzantine base. Our Byzantine now going to try to snipe this villager. We'll see if he even can. Man, oh man, do camels suck at killing villagers unless they come with attack bonuses like Farimba or the Hindustani camels. Okay, he does close. He does close. Mangonel opting to go for the monk does damage a few of his own units. Now a camel closes on the Mangonel as a cav archer tries. No, he doesn't need to. The town center snipe the monk. And yet again, an eye for an eye. They were 25 kill difference. Now it's a 31 kill difference. So our Byzantine is taking the worst engagements here. The kill count is broadening ever in the Turks' favor. But again, the Turk just can't penetrate. It's like this Ibex has some kind of, this is like the Rubicon Ibex, and you just cannot pass this one Ibex. The camels close yet again. This is amazing. Neither player just can't do anything. Our Turk pushes out. He gets to the magical ibex. And then all of a sudden there's a 15 camel greeting committee. So he retreats, the camels chase, the camels die. The Turk comes back, does the exact same thing. The camels reappear for the Byzantine, because why the hell not? They're basically free at this point. And then the same thing is happening over and over again. This is really a game of yo-yo. Another castle. Ooh, it's going to get the tip of this town center, it looks like, which means it's going to nullify the gold, which is probably why that town center is there in the first place. Uh-oh, our Turk isn't paying attention. He's let the camels close in, and look at the trail of destruction underneath here. Okay, he's wedging them into a corner, into a nook. We have to zoom in a little bit, otherwise we're not going to be able to see anything. There is a mangonel here behind the siege workshop, but it is maybe gonna die, maybe not. Man, camels are so freaking weak against everything they're not meant to counter. Oh my god. Okay, now the villager is not there to repair. No, there are 3 villagers to repair it, so the mangonel will survive. Oh man, what a hilarious situation developing here. It looks like the town center is being nullified by the castle. Oh, that was a disgusting shot there. The mangonel managing to get 3 cav archers, a 4th one, but it pays the price. Now the camels are chasing villagers. Now the villagers are not here to repair the mangonel anymore, so it will die. Yeah. And ultimately, the game of yo-yo inures to the benefit of our Byzantine, who, again, look at this. Just an endless parade push of camels at a 25% discount, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. It really is. It is a, I think, what does it mean? You can train 4 for the price of 3? Or 5 for the price of 4? Either way, it gives you more than 25% bigger army supply if you're going just pure camels than your opponent. And I think the mangonel shot here was just too demoralizing, followed up by another mangonel shot. And our Turk, I mean, he's got the wood, he's got the gold, he's got the resources. What he doesn't have is an economy. He's down 51 villagers. So this is literally the worst of all worlds here. Let's take a look at the upgrades here on these units and take a look at what was going on. So +2/+2 on the Cav Archer, +2/+2 on the Camels. Okay, so we're in Castle Age. They're fully upgraded, both of these units. But like I was saying, this is absolutely the worst of both worlds. Because you are fighting an opponent who has a discount on the unit he's producing, and he's got a bigger economy than you. And that economy difference is massive. What's 51 out of 77? I mean, that's like a 70%, 60 to 70% bigger economy. And just redonkulous. And man, oh man, you know, I've wanted to watch a game like this for the longest time. It wasn't the longest game in the world. I'm gonna keep this post-game analysis pretty short. We'll take a look at the stats in a second. But I have wanted to cast a game with the Byzantines like this for the longest frickin' time, because I have been saying that the Byzantines can clog up the works with cheaper skirmishers, with cheaper spearman line units, and with cheaper camels for about ever since I started the channel. So a little over a year. And finally, we're experiencing it. I mean, our Turk, against any other civilization, I shouldn't say any other, against many other civilizations, could have potentially done a lot more damage with those cav archers. Now, the question is, should he have continued taking on these full frontals? Did he really have a choice? Could he have even gone flank attack? At the end of the day, this Byzantine counter unit is faster. So it doesn't matter where Vivi pokes, really, because this camel is just going to appear there quicker than Vivi can appear there. And ACCM just has speed, cost, and the backup economy on his side. And now he's got a spine of castles crawling up the left side of the map with, by the way, 6240 HP, because they come with 30% more HP. Our Turk doesn't even have a castle up. So he couldn't even research Sipahi, which I believe is a Castle Age upgrade. We could have given his cav archers 20 more HP, making them go up to 90. And then had we been lucky enough to see Imperial go up to 100 with HCAs. But this is just the ability of the Byzantines to absolutely stop you from punching them in the face, or maybe after getting punched in the face, they can push you back. And like I said, I mean, this is just a beautiful thing to see, just this never-ending stream, this trail of dust and dirt behind these camels as they rush to the front lines. I mean, let's take a look at the numbers. I can't imagine the economies are going to be very similar at all. Oh, man, 114 camels, 68 cav archers. I mean, look, these numbers are pretty freaking good for a 36-minute game. Who's kidding who? This is still ridiculous. 68 cav archers in half an hour, 114 camels in half an hour. That is still pretty good. Peak APM right at the beginning, peak APM right at the end. Similar APM, but how big do we think? How much more economy does our Byzantine have? Oh, goodness. What is this? 8,000, so more than 30% bigger economy, and our Byzantine took all 4 of the 5 relics. So he had everything except obviously gold. I mean, yeah, you're not going to compete against the Turks for gold. Now, conversions are pretty fun on both sides. Let's see how many there were. 7 out of 130 is, what, 5% of the Byzantine army? So not terrible. 3 out of 95 is like 3%. That's a bit low. But wow, 99 kills to 118. So our Turks kill lead at the end of the day drops down to 19. And he unfortunately just lost too much. I suspect some of it had to do again with this mangonel shot. It's just so demoralizing when you're microing these units, because these are very micro intensive units. For all the reasons I said, you can't let this faster counter unit close in, because then all of a sudden now he's attacking on an 8. You've got 2 armor, so 6 damage plus 9 bonus damage. So 15 damage against a unit that has 70 HP means 5 attacks needed, and camels attack on a 2-second delay. So 10 seconds and this cav archer is dead. Whereas the cav archer attacks on an 8, the camel's got 2 armor. So 6 damage for 100 HP is what, 17 attacks? 17 attacks needed, and the attack speed is 1. I don't know what the hell 17 times 1.8 is, but it's a whole lot longer than 10 seconds. So this camel just absolutely shreds the cav archer to death. And after so much microing, after so long keeping your units alive and picking off a unit here, there, a monk, a villager, a scorpion, a mangonel, to take an onager shot, and even though it only killed 3 units, it is demoralizing. The players are human beings after all, and they are the ones under stress. Although, by the way, speaking of stress, one last point, and then I'll end it. One super cool feature, I've been watching the Nilly's Apartment Cup on Twitch. They've added, I don't know if they did this in previous years, because I wasn't really around for those competitions. I don't know, they have heart rate monitors. So you can actually see the BPM, the beats per minute of the players. And there was a game that the Viper was playing Tato, and Tato's heart rate was something like 115, 120 beats per minute, and the Viper was at like 65. And he was still microing like crazy. But I think that's the exception. I don't think that's the rule. I think Tato is more the rule than the exception, where these the players are just doing so much. It's so commendable. That's why I love casting these high elo games. Even if they're short, even if they're long, it doesn't matter. It just, you get to see some of the coolest features in the game. Things that, you know, normal, quote unquote, normal mid elo players don't really do that often. And stuff like this, where the Byzantine just, again, where the hell could our Turk have attacked that these camels weren't going to be there? Even if he attacked into here, the camels would have just pivoted to the southeast. If he attacked into here, the camels would have pivoted west. He just didn't have the faster unit, and he had the weaker unit on the whole. Now, he could have gotten some villager snipes for sure. We saw those camels chasing, trying to catch up. It's not a huge speed difference, right? It's like 0.06 tiles per second that they catch up on. So if there's 2 tiles space between them, whatever, 2 divided by 0.06, and that's how long it'll take for the camel to catch up with the cav archer. So it's a fairly similar speed. But at the end of the day, enough mathematics, enough getting all down the rabbit hole with all these numbers and things like that. What I absolutely loved about this game, if I were to phrase it like a grade 5 book report, is this: the absolute clogging of the shitter, of the toilet, of the attack path, of the entire map, where the conflict was with these cheaper, let's call them trash units, 40 food, 40 gold, whatever, plus minus, you guys, I'm not trying to be too specific here, is a fairly cheap unit, especially with 30 villagers on gold, 50 villagers on food. And even though the players did not reach Imperial, man oh man, did they give us a nice show. I don't even know how many times the Turkish cav archers got all the way to this Ibex, and then the Ibex summoned his magical Byzantine powers and pushed them back, and then they came back again and got repelled again. But the yo-yo finally ended in the hands of our Byzantine, who pushes the Turk back, reduces his army count to a very weak 8, and with that reduction, with the clogging of the works, with the spamming of the camels, it is our Byzantine who takes the game, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.